Boys and girls, the big dogs are back. We should have been recording about 10 minutes earlier because we were having some interesting conversations about some stuff going on here in the real world. But joined by the big dog co-host, Cameron Taylor. I'm Ward Sewell. As you guys know, we have a lot to go over today. This is an action-packed podcast. There's some real world events going on that outside of sports that the boys are going to give their opinions on. As you can see, the big man has the gear on. Cam,
Heck yeah.
Passing it off to you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Super excited to get into it. Like you said, these are the fun podcasts for us. I feel like no football talk. We love talking ball, but this gives us some time to spread our wings a little bit, talk some different stuff. As you said, back in black collection. Back in back, yeah. Q-Zip from Adidas, Fat Katz, and then the hat. Really cool stuff. We appreciate everybody who's gotten stuff already. Hope you guys enjoy it. But episode 43 here, Ward. Super fun episode. We got a lot of stuff going on. Maybe 50% of the people that listen to us won't be able to with this AT&T and Verizon outage. That's nuts, by the way. Just switched carriers, by the way.
What are you at? What are you with now?
We're Spectrum now.
Spectrum, nice.
So we dodged the bullet here by a few weeks, but got a lot of stuff for you guys. Want to remind you, though, before we get into it, find us on Spotify and YouTube. Just type in the Fat Katz Podcast. Give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment if we pique your interest with anything. And then Instagram and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. Ward, we got to talk about this AT&T stuff.
Dude, I was about to say, they have not got to me yet, Cam. I just checked. I have Verizon, and I still have three service bars over there. So anyway, it might have come to Wake County, Cam. But as you know, man. If anybody sees, I got a new background. If you can see, I'll show you. I got my ESPN on the TV right now. We got the front yard, because I'm a homeowner now, Cam. And as you know, Cam was here this weekend. Cam got to see the grand opening of the new place. And anybody knows anything about Johnson County, North Carolina, usually things takes a little while to come out here, Cam. We're a little bit out in the sticks now. So the hack hasn't got here yet, Cam, but we'll see what happens.
No, man. Beautiful house, by the way. And I'm glad you let Madison do the interior design a little bit more, because she put it together. She put it together a little bit better than probably you would have. But first of all, congrats on the house, man. Super excited.
Appreciate you, brother. Glad you could come and glad you could come and see it. And boys got to watch some UFC together. So anyway, before we get into it, let's talk about what the hell's going on in the world right now. Why is what's going on with the cyber attack, Cam?
I looked up at the news before, which if you know me, you know I don't watch the news or look at the news very often. Looked it up before we got on. They still don't know, which is even almost scarier, if we're being honest.
I can tell you, it's our brothers out. It's our brothers out in the West. One country starts with an R by the name of Russia, and the other country has the most people. In any country in the world, this country has the most people, and it's China. And Cam, they're working together against us, my friend. They're going to try to freeze our assets. They're going to try to not allow us to start our cars. They're not going to be able to call each other because we have modernized so much, Cam. Do you have a landline in your house anymore?
I don't. No.
Well, we don't have. I mean, growing up, we had one. Everybody knew the landline, 570-3205. That was phone number. But, we're not going to be able to call each other here on cell phones, Kim. I hope we make it to episode 44 next week.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's up in the air. You never know.
Nobody messes with the US of A, but
we will have, if anybody's wondering, we will have Alex Jones on in the second hour of the podcast here to tell us what's going on with AT&T. But one last thing, and then we'll get into the real stuff here. I'm glad that the Fat Katz money is finally starting to hit your bank account, so you were able to buy that house, man.
Yeah.
We're starting to hit it big here. I don't know if people.
Yeah, the boys are getting big, man. We're I'm not sure. I know we're up there. We're in the triple digits on YouTube.
Heck yeah.
I know we're in the triple digits on. I know we're in the triple digits on Instagram. Spotify, we're getting up there, and TikTok. If anybody saw Cam and the Chiefs fans arguing on my video on TikTok, that's getting us paid. So keep giving, and I cannot wait to defend myself too. I've been arguing with all my buddies.
Let me say, That nerd, the Chiefs Kingdom, whatever his name is. I know he's not a listener. I know he doesn't listen. If he does, I don't care. You're a nerd.
Hey, Chiefs
If you,
Kingdom.
whoa. Kids watching Ward.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom to that guy.
But he's just saying crazy stuff. We'll get into it. And I'll read exactly what he said. But super excited to get into it. Starting off, Ward. So we start off how we always start podcast. First favorite and forgotten. For anybody who doesn't know, the episode correlates with the jersey number. So we'll be doing our first player that comes to mind that wore 43, favorite player that wore 43, and somebody who is forgotten or disrespected that wore 43. I'm going to start it out because I'm not letting you steal my favorite this week, Ward. Darren Sproles, first guy that came to mind.
I like it, brother.
One of the best running back. I mean, like utility players of that era, like it's Darren Sproles and Devin Hester probably are the two guys you think of. So Darren Sproles,
dude, Madden legend Darren Sproles, by the way. And which Darren Sproles is this? Is this San Diego Chargers Darren Sproles? Is this New Orleans Saints Darren Sproles? And I know he played for another team.
Always go Chargers. I
he
just
played on
think
the Eagles too, didn't he?
He did play on the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think Chargers more so just because he was with LT at the back end of his career or tenure, I guess, with LA, but also the jerseys, like the lightning bolt, the baby blue jerseys, like everybody thinks of that when they think of the Chargers.
Yeah, and I remember that's when I first started playing Madden was the LT days, the Darren Sproles days. So great pick, Cam. You know, I went back to the North Carolina roots for my pick, Cam. Anybody knows Randleman, North Carolina, over there towards Greensboro. Everybody knows about Richard Petty, Cam. Greatest 43 to ever do it. Richard Petty. I mean, he should be my favorite, but he's all three. He's first favorite and forgotten this week, Cam. Richard Petty.
Well, by request, by the way, by Dylan Raven, and also because I covered this for work last week. We do have some Daytona 500 news that we're going to go over later in the podcast. So stick around for that if you're a fan of making left turns at high speeds. My favorite, no doubt, Troy Polamalu, the greatest safety to ever play football, in my opinion. I grew up. This was my favorite football player. Now, obviously, I wasn't able to emulate my game after him, but just watching the game, and if you got to watch Troy Polamalu, nobody more electric in the sport at the time.
Yep, can't agree more, Cam. My favorite is also Troy Polamalu, and anybody that knows Young Ward knows before I made the sad mistake of being a Redskins fan, I used to be a fan of the black and gold. Pop Warner, from when I was 7 years old to 13, I believe it was. I played for the Capital City Steelers here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I loved the Steelers up until I was like 8. From 7 to 8, I liked the Steelers, and then for some reason I went through the Redskins. But and Troy Polamalu was a stud back in my Steelers fan days. So gonna go with my favorite 43 here. I think everybody first time to think of 43.
Well, did you see a Super Bowl and you're like, man, this isn't for me?
No, I remember when y'all played when the Steelers played the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I was really rooting for the Steelers. They won, and then when the Steelers, it was like the next year or 2 years later, the Steelers played the Packers, and y'all got kicked out of you. I was like, dang, man, I guess it's time to go back to the Redskins.
That's hilarious. But forgotten, and I think in Charlotte, even this guy gets forgotten, and he was a big deal. I felt like he wasn't a great football player, but the name had a lot to do with it. It's Fozzie Whitaker, played running back and fullback for the Carolina Panthers here. It was a big deal for a while. Like it was like one of those guys that wasn't very good, Ward, but everybody kind of rallied around him because he was fun.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about him anymore.
Fozzie, that's a good pick, man. I like it. My I don't really have a forgotten this week, Cam. This is another legend that, you know, as my dad was a baseball guy, my dad was a knuckleballer, and this guy was a knuckleballer. R.A. Dickey. Anybody knows about R.A. Dickey, Mets legend. Look him up. Him and Tim Wakefield have the two meanest knuckleballs of all time. Not sure who you side with. I was more, I'm not going to lie, I was more of a Tim Wakefield guy growing up, but my dad was always an R.A. Dickey guy. So check him out. If you want to see a ball that moves like this, check out R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, and forewarning, if you look up R.A. Dickey, don't click on the one of him in the locker room. I'll leave it at that. Weekly game balls we got to hand out here, Ward. A lot. I mean, we had some history get made. We had some people we're close to make some big plays. But obviously we watched this, so I'm going to tee you up here, Ward. Who was your weekly game ball, your first one going out to?
Ilya Tapora, Cam. Ilya Tapora is my weekly game ball. The reason is, as if anybody that was listening a week ago today on Fat Katz Podcast number 42, I picked Volk to win. So did Cam. I texted Cam. It was either Friday night or Saturday morning. I said, boys, I am taking Ilya. I have a weird feeling about this main event. Volk, I feel like he's rushing back. And I made some money off of Ilya Tapora. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I'm going to give him my game ball. He made history. Good for him. Not sure who beats him, Cam. Not sure who beats him.
And the level of fighter, as the years keep going, man, like that division is stacked. And I don't think anybody can beat him. It's the crazy part.
I wonder who they would. I would assume they're going to give Volk the rematch because of how much money that's going to make the UFC. But outside of that, at 45, Max Holloway. I mean, Max Holloway's fighting Justin Gaethje, so it's not him.
Canceled, by the way.
Huh?
Canceled yesterday, by the way.
What?
Yeah, he couldn't make weight.
No.
Yeah.
That's not this weekend, is it?
Yeah. No, it's 300. He pulled out of 300.
Who couldn't make weight?
Holloway. He said he's not going to be able to make weight for the fight. It got canceled yesterday.
He's fighting up. How's he not able to make weight? I didn't see that.
Yeah. I was filling it out for 300, and it said that it got canceled.
Really? I did not see that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason why he canceled, because he knows he's getting a shot. But
also a possibility. But real quick on Volk, and I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit more, but the same way that Stipe and Chuck Liddell, really, they walked through punches for all those years, Ward, and then they just get hit one time, and then it just feels like the lights go off a little bit. Kind of got that feeling with Volk against Islam, and feels like that even more so now that, those guys walked through punches for so long, and now they just got a spot where if they get touched, it's kind of over. So,
yeah,
unfortunate for Volk, but what a fight by Ilya.
Yeah, he is out too. By the way, I'm looking on none of the big. They haven't made it official yet, but all like the MMA reporters are posting it. But ESPN or none of them have like actually posted he's pulled out yet.
Okay,
but very interesting. Breaking news on the Fat Katz by Cam Taylor.
Yeah, I've got sources, man. I've got sources.
Yeah, what?
So I've got sources.
Yeah, well, Cam Taylor and sources that Max Holloway is out of UFC 300. I didn't know that. But anyway, yeah, moving on. Second game ball. Cam, wow, that one threw me for a little bit of a mind roller coaster. But second game ball is going to Parker Bird of East Carolina. Cam, not sure if you saw this, but Parker Bird was involved in a boating accident 18 months ago. He had to get his leg amputated, and he played in a collegiate game this weekend at East Carolina. Pretty cool. First paraplegic, I believe is the name, or I don't know what the name is, but he's the first player to ever play with a fake leg in college baseball. So thought that was pretty cool.
That was very cool. That's an awesome story. I didn't know that. Keeping it in baseball, my first game ball is going to go to a guy I went to high school with, Johnny Hummel. Just transferred to the University of Kentucky. He's pitching for the University of Kentucky Wildcats. So want to give him a huge shout out, man. Guy went to high school, living out his dream, playing Power 5 SEC baseball.
It's awesome.
Couldn't be happier for Johnny, man. Congrats.
Charlotte, stand up. And speaking of Charlotte, Cam, going to keep it in Charlotte. Blake Prowl. Believe you played against this guy in high school. I didn't play against him. I've seen him on social media. But Blake Prowl, if anybody follows him, he was a stud at East Carolina. He was an undrafted free agent to the Minnesota Vikings, and now he is living out his country music singing career, or his country music singing dreams on American Idol. And the man is making a name for himself, Cam, and I thought that was pretty cool. My mom texted me the other night. My mom and his mom grew up together, which I didn't know that. She was like, hey, look, this guy's on American Idol. My mom was a big American Idol fan. So thought that was pretty cool, man. He is making revenue on the football field and in American Idol. So, and he's a country guy too, Cam. He's a country music singer. He sang a Chris Stapleton song on American Idol. Love to see that. So, go Blake. The Fat Cats are cheering for you, my friend.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I didn't know that either. Providence High School product. right down the road here. So congrats, man. Charlotte getting their
And
own
his
country.
brother, he has a brother that's real good at football too, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
who's his
All the
brother?
pros, they were all very good at ball.
Who does his brother play for or did play for?
I'm not for sure, to be honest with you. Honestly, I get them all confused. They all look the exact same. They all play receiver. So,
Well,
I
Blake,
don't know.
sing your heart out, my friend.
Yeah, we're cheering. I'll vote for him, man. I'll watch American Idol just to vote for him.
Yeah.
But my last game ball here, greatest women's college basketball player of all time, Caitlin Clark, breaks the all-time scoring record last week. So shout out to Caitlin. Jay Williams said some crazy stuff on game day that she's not one of the greats yet because she hasn't won a championship. Jay Williams is an idiot. I hope everybody knows that and realizes it every time he opens his mouth. Caitlin Clark is without a doubt the greatest college basketball player in the women's sport. So shout out to Caitlin breaking the all-time
shout out
record.
to Caitlin and Jay Williams. If the Fat Katz Podcast is talking about women's basketball and they're talking about a player, then she's doing something. So good for Caitlin. Congratulations on breaking the scoring record. And I cannot wait to see you in the NBA All-Star game next year with that other girl that's a three-point shooter. Yeah,
Sabrina.
Her against Steph Curry. So we'll see if y'all can team up and beat him this year or next year.
I saw it's going to be Dame and Steph. Or no, Steph and Sabrina versus Caitlin Clark and Dame next year.
Interesting.
Also, sources, not yet. We got some low-key breaking news here, Ward. Out of Western North Carolina, where we went to school, believe it or not sports related. There's a stingray out in Western North Carolina that resides in a storefront aquarium. And I'm not going to say the town because we know this place. I don't want people going. Her name is Charlotte. For 8 years, Ward, she's had no male of the same species in her tank. Comes out last month. She's pregnant with 4 offspring. She only shares an aquarium with a shark. So
what?
Yes. No, she doesn't. No other stingray in that tank with her. But she's pregnant with 4 offspring. Only other animal in her aquarium is a shark. Are we witnessing a crossbreed of the century here
in Western North Carolina? Catamount, stand up.
We got some scientists
what
out there.
What town is this? What does the town start with?
It starts with the C.
Cherokee.
I'm not saying there is a casino in this town. Santa Land also maybe in this town. Wild story though, Ward. I just thought to start us off with a laugh here. We might be seeing a new species coming out of Western North Carolina.
Get out of here, man. The damn what is going on at Harris? Somebody wants some money at Harris and they're going crazy.
So my question is it going to look like a stingray with shark teeth, or is it going to look like a shark with a stingray tail?
I no damn telling, man, but I'm not getting near either one of them. I've seen Jaws and I've watched Steve Irwin, and they both got tore up by both there. But a lot of people got tore up by stingrays and sharks. So, show me pics.
Yeah, funny story. If anybody knows the owner, if they want to do an interview and queer up the air, we're available.
Hey, Fat Cats are ready to interview them.
Real breaking news, though, Ward. You brought this to my attention.
Yeah, man. So I thought this was really interesting. I was, I figured I wanted to talk about it on the Fat Cats. So, watching ESPN this morning, and God, I can't talk today. I'm so sorry, Kim. The MLB is planning on having an expansion in 18 months. They said between 16 and 20 months. So I'm just saying 18. They're going to have a vote to add 1 to 2 teams. Okay. Right now, Cam, the leading city to get a new MLB team is Raleigh, North Carolina. We are the betting favorite. Charlotte is number 3. There was another city on there that was high up there. I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, Raleigh's number 1. And I just thought it'd be really cool. Any of the Raleigh people, I did find out they would put the stadium right where Wade Avenue and Edwards Mill Road meet. There's a giant piece of farmland from NC State's agriculture school that they would build that stadium, which would be right downtown, which would be pretty cool. Cam, I thought this was cool, man. So, we were discussing before the pod. I want to discuss during the pod color segment. Also, team name. What are we thinking? What do you think? I know you mentioned Carolina blue. I thought they were going to go red. What do you think color wise? Any changes?
I think, and I just thought of this. You go red and black. I know it's going to piss off Carolina fans. I know it's going to piss off Duke fans. Tell them, you got your college basketball championships. Deal with it. You go red and black, and you call them the Carolina Reapers.
The Carolina Reapers. I like it. So I agree with you on one thing. I agree with you on the red and black. I hope they keep it red. The NC State Wolfpack are in Raleigh. They are red. The Carolina Hurricanes are in Raleigh. They are red. I don't know what the name's going to be, Cam. What I'm hoping they do is I'm hoping they call it the Raleigh something. Charlotte has the Hornets. Raleigh does not have a team. The Carolina Hurricanes represents both North Carolina and South Carolina. The Carolina Panthers represents both North Carolina and South Carolina. Since there's two representatives, Charlotte has its own team. Time for Raleigh to get his own team. I like the Raleigh. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. The Raleigh Rednecks. There we go. But no, I like
Roughnecks.
I don't know what they're going to do. Somebody told me the Raleigh Warhogs, what they thought they're going to do. I don't think they'll do that. So who knows, man? I think it'd be pretty cool. I hope I will be voting if we do have to go to the post office and vote because it is going to cost us a little bit of money in taxes. But I'd rather my money in tax dollars go towards that than towards something else. So thumbs up approval from me.
Let me go on record. If they call them the Warhogs, I'll get season tickets. That is awesome. One question I had, and you addressed this to me off camera, is where the hell is this stadium going to go? Where's the hell this ballpark going to go, Ward?
Yep. That's what I just said, man. Edwards Mill and Wade Avenue, right there at NC State's agriculture department. Perfect. Thank God there's still some agriculture out there to build a stadium, which I think would be pretty cool, man. I'm not going to be a season ticket holder, Cam, because I will be a fan because I don't really care about MLB. I don't have an MLB team. I will be a fan. There's 182 MLB games in a year, Cam. So a lot of games to be a season ticket holder. But I'll go, Friday night, Saturday night. Go drink a couple beers.
Yeah,
watch the Warhawks play.
It's 162, right? 162.
Or is it one? It might be 162. I messed that up.
That's only 81 home games. You've got 81 nights open in a year for sure.
What about the days they play? I think baseball plays either 3 days or 4 days in a row.
Man, I'll say, and this is way off topic, what I would have done to grow up and been a baseball player and see these contracts these guys get, man, that's the life, I believe.
I tell you one thing, one sport I'm going to teach my kid how to play. I'm going to teach him how to throw a damn baseball and hit a baseball.
We talked about this a while ago, so probably time to bring it up again for our new listeners. There's a video in this world of not only Wade tanking a slow pitch softball, but also Cam Taylor going 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts in a slow pitch softball game.
Yeah, I think that never got posted on the Instagram.
No, it did. It's down there somewhere. I posted it. Hand on the Bible, I posted it. But yeah, I will not be able to teach my kids anything about baseball. I know that. That's huge news over the weekend, Ward, which I'm super excited about, is the college football 25 video game trailer dropped. They also announced today that everybody who wants to be in the game, college football player wise, will get $600 and a free copy of the game. If you opt in, if you opt out, obviously you don't get that. But if you, in my opinion, respectfully, if you opt out of this game, you're a loser.
You're a loser.
You're grade A loser. We've been waiting on this for 10 years.
We have.
Put your pride aside and be in the game.
Yeah, I hope they don't mess it up. One, because I don't play video games too much now, but I will play this game, Cam. Also, all 134 FBS teams are going to be involved or are going to be in this game. So you were worried about Kentucky not being in the game. They're in, which is cool. The only thing that's a negative is FCS teams are not going to be included. So my Western Carolina Catamounts, our Western Carolina Catamounts, will not be in the game, unfortunately. But I'm excited, man. Yeah, go Cats. There you go. I'm excited. I'm really curious I'm curious when they're going to release this game, and 2, who are they going to miss out on putting on the cover? Who are they going to put on the cover?
That was my first question is who gets the cover. And knowing EA, they'll have 3 different versions. One will be
Oh
$60.
yeah, that's how they make their money, dude.
One will be at $80 and one will be $100. And
You paying for the $100 one?
oh yeah, they'll take all my money this go around. And I think Nick Saban has to find his way on one of these covers, like purely Nick Saban by himself.
All right, explain this to me. The $60 version, Kentucky Josh Allen. The $100 version, Lamar Jackson, Louisville. Which one are you buying?
Well, I'm not buying a hard copy anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, okay, just which one are you buying?
I'm buying the $100 version. Are you kidding me? Don't care.
Josh Allen one?
Yeah, Josh Allen was awesome. I spent money to go watch his bowl game, Ward. I'm getting the best game they got. That's what I'm doing.
And I'll say, college anyway.
You probably picked the worst Louisville player to say because I actually really like Lamar, which I shouldn't, but I do.
Can't think of many other. I mean, Jair Alexander. How about
from
him?
Charlotte? I like him too. He went to Rocky River.
I can't think of any other ones.
Cam Taylor, as a freshman, tackled that guy in a varsity football game. By the way, yeah. I mean, I'm super excited about the game. I think Nick Saban's got to be on one. Probably try to get all the Heisman winners since the last one on there. That. But if you're going to guy this year, like coming up, like it's probably Travis Hunter or one of the Sanders brothers, right?
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't know who's the betting favorite right now to win the Heisman. I would say Travis Hunter or either or one of the quarterback.
Yeah, super excited. And on your point to the FCS schools, you can create schools, so I'm sure by like day 2 some saint will have made the entire FCS teams and rosters and put it on there.
Put your Venmo, I'll send you a little tip.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'll say if you haven't played it, NCAA football on 14 on 360, there's people that update the rosters and update
every
the game.
year.
It's nuts. They get the rosters completely perfect. They do their own ratings. We need to get those guys working for EA.
Give those guys a job, man. I remember I used to play with Seth Williams on there when Seth was playing at State. I used to Seth was a 99 overall.
I'll say, I mean, Ward knows. In Highlands at Western Carolina, dude.
a lot of NCAA was played.
A lot.
Shout out Chris. Weary Dolo.
Shout out Chris, man. Shout out to Weary Dolo out there.
I do want to hear your opinion on this though, Cam. So, obviously the College Football Committee announced that it's a 12-team playoff, we know, but they're going to do the winners of the top 4 conferences have an automatic bid. So, example, a 9-3 Clemson team wins the ACC, or an 8-4 team, just throwing examples out there, win and gets in, and say like an 11-1 Liberty doesn't get in, or a 11-1, I don't know, SMU doesn't get in. Somebody, I'm just throwing out, not SMU, they're in the ACC now, but I'm just throwing out, a little school doesn't get in. Give me I want to hear your initial thoughts, and I'll give mine.
Well, it is 5 plus 7, the model they passed. So it's the 4 major conferences. So Big 12, SEC, ACC, Big 10, because Pac-12 obviously not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And the highest rated G5 school all get automatic bids.
Okay.
So like an 11-1 Liberty, if they were if they were the highest rated G5 school, they'll get a home field advantage, by the way, in the first round. And then it's the next 7 highest rated schools, regardless of conference or level or grouping.
Have they announced what bowl games are going to sponsor what game yet, or not?
I think it's on a rotation year by year. I do know, which I'm super excited about, is the first round is a home game for the higher seed. So you're going to see, a team go to Michigan.
Nice.
Go to Michigan in December when it's snowing.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's going to be fun, man. And again, I mean, even more money for these programs, but I like the idea. I just don't know if there's 12 teams every year, Ward, that can actually compete.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. I really like the idea, Cam, because just like the NFL, I was talking with one of my buddies was like, they don't need to do it like that. They need to do the top 12 ranked teams. I'm like, no, dude. Look at the NFL. What happens in the NFL every year? Whoever wins the 4 conference or the 4 divisions in each conference automatically gets in. I agree with that. It just makes, I like the way they do it. Obviously, 8 divisions and 4 major conferences is a little bit different, but I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited just to see teams that have never a perfect example, like a Notre Dame. You know, Notre Dame never gets in the playoff. I know they have, but now they'll get in. You know, like teams are going to get in now that are always like right there. Who's a team that's ranked like 10th every year that you can think of? 2-loss team every year. USC. You know, they're one that come.
Yeah.
They're
I
one
feel
that,
like the loser of Ohio State, Michigan
the
always
loser
gets
of Ohio
dropped.
State, Michigan. Exactly. You know, Penn State, they're going to get in. You know, just like schools like that. And it's going to see, you know, like a Penn State, 8-seed Penn State is going to play a 4-seed Clemson or a 4-seed Florida State. It's exciting to see. You know, it's just, I'm really excited for it.
Another thing to watch out for though here is like we're adding 2 extra weekends to the college football slate. How's the NFL navigate this? Because we've seen forever Super Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah.
They're bleeding into the Saturday. Like, what do they do now? Because they're not allowed to play NFL games on Saturdays when college football's on. That's a rule. So I don't know. I mean, we got some scheduling conflicts here for sure. I'm sure. But super excited, man. I want to go on record, Ward. I was talking this with some of my buddies. You know, huge John Summerall fan. Played at Kentucky, DC at Kentucky. Took Troy to back-to-back Sun Belt championships. Now at Tulane, Ward, he just got 2 5-star transfers out of the transfer portal. On record, on Fat Katz, John Summerall will take Tulane to a college football playoff before his tenure is over.
I like it, man. I like it. I like it.
But yeah, tell us how you guys feel about this new model. There's a lot of change in college football going on right now, so want to hear what everybody has to say about it. Ward, what do you think about the Commanders trading up to number 1? I know we've talked about this, but I just saw a list of people who could trade up to 1 and the packages that go along with it. How do you feel about the Commanders trading up from 2 to 1?
You know, man, I think it's a very big chance. So I looked it up because I was curious last year when the Bears and the Panthers made that trade from number 6 to number 1 or whatever, and it was March 12th of last year. So as soon as March 1st comes around, I think we still have a week. I think there's a very valid chance somebody trades, whether it's us, whether it's New England, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's Atlanta, somebody's going to trade up to that number 1 pick. And the thing is, Cam, is I do not want to give up much. If we do trade up for the number 1 pick, the most I would be willing to give up is our first rounder. So we flip 1 and 2, one of our second rounders, and maybe a second rounder next year at the most. But apparently the asking price right now for that number 1 pick is they're demanding at least your first round pick and 2 more first round picks. Hell no. We are a rebuilding team. We're not when we're already at number 2. I don't know, man. I if we do it, I'd like to do it for a low price, but we'll just have to see.
I feel like they got a little bit spoiled last year. Absolutely hosing the Panthers in that trade.
Yeah. But the thing is, are the Bears actually going to take Justin Fields? Or are the Bears actually going to take Caleb Williams?
I think they will if they stay at 1. And the only reason I say that is because you get to reset the timeline.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
You've got 1 more year of Justin Fields before you have to pay him. And has he done anything that makes you say, man, this guy's a franchise quarterback?
Yeah, and they just Justin Fields also not breaking news. Saw this on ESPN yesterday. He actually unfollowed the Bears on Instagram. So
I saw that.
Any gurus out there think that's a sign.
He also went on Sun God's podcast, St. Brown for the Lions.
Yeah,
and they were asking him what his favorite place to play besides Soldier Field is, and he said Pittsburgh and Atlanta.
Really?
Funny enough. So
interesting.
Said he'd love to play for Arthur Smith. Said that he loves Atlanta's weapons. He also said he just wants the trade talk to be over. He either wants to not get traded or just to happen so he doesn't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
If the Steelers made a move for Justin Fields, I would not be mad about it. Depending on the price tag, of course.
Would you give up a first rounder for him?
No, absolutely not. I would not. 20 this year, no chance. I'd give him a second round pick for him.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give up more than that in Justin Fields.
Well, I mean, if they draft Caleb Williams, what do I mean? They have no leverage in a deal.
Yeah, very true.
Because they've already got their they're not going to start. They're not going to take Caleb Williams and start Justin Fields. They have no leverage.
Yeah,
But
very true.
I'll say the bidding war has started
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I did see something for the Giants, and this is for my man Kyle Ziefert. I saw this year's first round pick, which is number 6 for the Giants. Next year's first round pick, 2 seconds, and Kayvon Thibodeau to move from 6 to 1. That's a lot, but
That's a lot.
when you're rolling with Danny Dimes, I feel like that's a pretty decent price tag to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
If you feel like Caleb Williams is the guy, the more I've watched Caleb Williams, the less I think that he's like surefire, incredible quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into that when we do our scouting kind of deal here. But yeah, real quick, Daytona 500. I don't know if you saw this, Ward. Alex Bowman, with I think 2 laps to go, causes the big wreck at Daytona, and then loses due to a caution flag into a white flag. So basically, what happened is NASCAR took a screenshot of where everybody was on the track when the wreck occurred. It was determined that he was in second place, even though a lot of the screenshots it looked like he was in first place. So he didn't even get a race for position. He was just given second place.
Really?
So a lot of controversy going around Daytona. And Dylan Rabin, if I butchered that, let me know and I'll fix it. But that was my understanding. But huge blow for the Ally team over there in the 48 car.
No, I didn't see that, man. I know one, I can't believe anybody is racing 48 anymore after Jimmy Johnson. I thought they were going to retire that number 1. And 2, I know there was a lot of weather delays around.
Yeah, they had to move it from Sunday to Monday.
Yeah, and it was originally supposed to it was supposed to be on Sunday. Never mind. I was gonna say I originally thought it was supposed to be Saturday, but yeah, man, didn't really hear much about it, but very, very interesting.
Yep. And last thing before we get into college hoops, and then we're going to go over some draft prospects for you guys, and then obviously go over to UFC 298. NBA All-Star Weekend, let's just go on record, it's dead. I don't know if you watched the game or watched any of the festivities. Awful. I mean, the dunk contest was the worst one I think I've ever seen. Jaylen Brown did a dunk and then covered his eyes on the way down and said that he did a blindfolded dunk and won the dunk competition with it. Had 2 guys that aren't in the NBA in the dunk competition this year.
Yeah,
Jacob
that's
Toppin.
what I thought was ridiculous, man. Having G League guys.
Mac McClung, who won it last year, won this year as well. Back-to-back champ from Gate City, Virginia. So Appalachia guy, I love him. Hope he's doing well. Won it, G League guy. Jacob Toppin, went to Kentucky, love him, G League guy. If we're going to do that, we might as well get these professional dunkers that just do crazy stuff, do the dunk competition. Because these NBA guys, I don't think they're cutting it anymore.
No, I haven't watched it. The last NBA All-Star competition I watched was when Zach LaVine won the first one. I just don't really care much for it anymore, man. It's also there was over 400 or there was almost 400 points scored in the All-Star game. Throw some money at these guys or something to make it interesting. Make them play for something, but who knows, man.
And at the end of the day, if those guys don't care, how do you expect us to care when we're watching?
Yeah, exactly.
So I now say, I declare actually NBA All-Star Weekend dead until I say otherwise.
Yeah.
Real quick into college hoops. Biggest story in college hoops were Texas A&M Commerce and Incarnate Word, got into a huge brawl after the game. I don't know if you saw the video.
Didn't see that.
If you haven't, go check it out. It's the only fight I've seen, Ward, where people got beat up, but there was no punches connected. I don't know if that makes sense.
Was there a lot of people storming?
It was just like it was just 2 basketball teams. It was like bulls in china shops just running into each other. I don't know if a single punch actually connected in that fight.
No,
but I mean, all hell broke loose. It was 20 versus 20, basically, is what it was.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Kentucky update. We won 2 games last week. Went to the Jungle in Auburn on Saturday.
I saw that was a big win for y'all Saturday night.
Double-digit victory. Last night, kind of pooped on the parade. Go down to Baton Rouge. Lose by 1 to LSU on a buzzer beater. Rob Dillingham down the stretch was incredible. He's going to be a top 5 pick, by the way, Ward.
Yeah.
From Charlotte here. Going to be a top 3 pick. So shout out to him. But lost the game to LSU. Hard to win road games in the SEC, but coming off an Auburn win, like you'd like to win that game, especially going into Alabama next week or Saturday.
Yeah.
So UK.
Are they good again?
Kentucky?
No, Alabama.
Yeah, they're first in the SEC right now.
Wow.
This will, by the
Over
way,
Tennessee?
yes. By the way, this will be the 3rd year in a row that they win the SEC regular season.
I thought Tennessee's ranked like 5th.
They are. They're 8-4 in the SEC. Alabama's 9-3.
Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting.
So, yeah, I mean,
Mark Godfrey cooked up the hell of a program there. Former NC State coach, Mark Godfrey.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, go look up why Mark Godfrey got fired from his Alabama job. Ring, ring.
Why don't you tell us, Ward?
Not going to break the news on the Fat Cats. He was. There was a few college interns and Mark Godfrey that were having fun together, and
SEC basketball coaches and football coaches and the interns, like, we need to keep them away, dude.
He was doing it at NC State too, but he got caught after he left NC State.
Ball coaches and the interns, man, keep them away because nothing good ever happens.
No.
I did declare last week that UConn was the best team in college basketball.
I did. I thought they were too.
They went down to Creighton and lost by 20 on the road.
Yeah.
Cool stat. Well, I don't know if it's cool. UConn, Ward, in the last 21 matchups. This is since 2010, by the way. In their last 21 matchups versus top 25 teams on the road. Guess their record.
The last top 25 teams on the road. I would assume pretty high. What is it? I don't know.
In the last 10 years, they're 0-21 versus top 25 teams on the road. In that time, Ward, 5 national championships. Or since 2000, excuse me. Since 2000, 5 national championships. They've been to 5 Final Fours and won all of them. Just this program never ceases to amaze me. It seems like they either make the Final Four and win it or don't make the tournament at all. Nope. But last road win versus top 25 team, 2010 Memphis.
Interesting.
Which I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Purdue, another top 2 team, lost on the road to Ohio State. Ohio State, keep in mind, without a head basketball coach. So again,
who goes up to number 1 now? Houston? Where are they at? No, Houston.
I don't know. Houston's was 3, but they got beat by Kansas by 30 on the road.
Yeah,
2
Kansas
weeks
is playing awful right now too. Kansas just got beat again.
I would say, if I had to guess, it probably just doesn't move unless they. I mean, because even like UConn beat Marquette by 20 before they lost.
Yeah.
This year in college basketball, like, it's up in the air, man. Yeah. There's no like real team that's set.
I thought it was UConn was the dominant team, but I don't know, man.
It's hard to imagine a team losing by 20 and winning a national championship, especially in February.
Yeah.
But real quick, Western Carolina's Woolbright continues to impress, averaging 22 and 12 as a 6'6" guard, Ward. I mean, this guy's incredible. He might go down as one of the greatest catamounts. Yeah, one of the greatest catamounts of all time. One of the best
we had that one guy when we were in school that transferred to Louisville. I can't remember his name. He was pretty good too.
Nah, he stunk, man. Cardinals.
They did get a Louisville.
Speaking of Louisville, Rick Pitino rant real quick. They lost to Seton Hall on Tuesday, Ward. I'm going to read you some of these quotes from the post game just because it's hilarious. Here's the first quote of the night. We kind of lost this season with the way we recruited. We recruited the antithesis of the way I coach. It's a good group. They try hard. They're just not very tough. That's quote number 1. Imagine being on a team and your coach saying this.
That's not ideal, is it, Cam?
We're so unathletic that we can't guard anybody without fouling. For me, I've enjoyed the first year. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the most unenjoyable experience of my lifetime. This has been so disappointing.
Jeez. Not ideal, Cam.
Look, Joel, he's slow laterally. He's not fast on the court. Chris Ledlum is slow laterally. Sean Conway, slow laterally. Brady's physically weak. Drissa is slow laterally.
Tell them how you really feel.
2 more quotes. Do we have shitty facilities? Yes, we do. But we're doing something about that. And last quote, this one's also hilarious. I think they're very respectful. They hear, but they don't listen. It's taken me 2 months to get them to throw bounce passes. It's a slow progress. Rick Pitino is
he's getting old,
unhinged.
man.
Rick Pitino also documented really good guy. And I'll say off the top of my head, I can probably think of 2 experiences in his life that were probably more unenjoyable than this. Do some research. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. But as we get into it, Ward, we've got NFL draft prospects that we want to go over. So what we're going to kind of do here, probably every episode until the draft, we're going to give you guys 3 or 4 prospects me and Ward really like that we've done research on, we've watched film on. So you're getting an actual in-depth look at these prospects. And then hopefully before the draft, we'll be able to do a mock draft. I'm calling mine Bam Bam's top dogs from last year. I coined yours as Ward's winners. I don't know.
I like it. Ward's winners.
But Ward, tell me about your first prospect, man.
Dude, my first prospect won, Cam, and I'm very glad that we're doing this. You know, I know last year, I'm actually going to put some thought into it. Last year, I just threw a bunch of names on a sheet of paper. This year, I really put some thought into it. As guys I've been paying attention to as I watched the year go on, guys I've been paying attention to. One, this guy's coming off an injury, Cam. Zach Zinter. He's a 3-year starter at the University of Michigan. And I actually have some stats. 6'6", 322 pounds. First team All-American this year. He did not allow a single quarterback hit in 2023, Cam. He played in the Big Ten. He did break his leg against Ohio State, which obviously is a hard injury to come off of. But he started 45 games in his college career. This guy's a stud, man. He has the experience. You look at the hogs that Michigan produces. Just go look at a picture of him. This is the definition of a Midwest Big Ten college football center. He's a stud. Ward's winners, number 1, Zach Zinter.
Yeah, I love it, man. Zinter, a guy that you're going to take this year, probably in the 2nd or 3rd round, maybe the 4th, maybe. You know you're going to have to sit on for a year. It's probably going to take a year for him to actually heal from this injury. But before the season, he was center number 1 for a lot of people. So I love Zach Zinter. I'm glad you gave the big boy some love. That'll be something that you guys notice I'll do a lot just because I understand the position more. But starting off with the now center number 1 in this draft class, a guy who I've watched for 2 full seasons, Ward, Jackson Powers Johnson. He's the center out of Oregon. He's listed at 6'3", 334 pounds.
Big dog.
He's by far the best athlete at center, maybe on the offensive line this year besides Olu. Again, 6'3", almost 340, moves like a tight end. He can get out in space. He's great at the second level when he gets off on linebackers. Generates a ton of power at the point of attack. Great hips, which you don't see a lot. That's like a guy like Cedric Van Pran that's in Georgia right now. He's my center 4. Doesn't have great hips. Jackson Powers Johnson can bend. He's awesome. He's my favorite player.
When's this guy going to get drafted? How soon?
So
day 1 or day 2 guy?
When I started scouting him, and I say scout very lightly, he was like a day 4 guy.
So he was an undrafted guy.
Round 4, excuse me, not day 4. Went to the Senior Bowl this year, Reese's Senior Bowl, got a ton of reps, did great for the first day, got some reps at guard as well, Ward. Shot from a projected 3rd round pick to now he's a late day 1, early day 2 pick at center, by the way. And when I say like this guy to me is like Creed Humphrey was my favorite center I've ever scouted. Tyler Lindenbaum was 2nd from Iowa. He's somewhere in between those 2, probably closer to Creed. This is probably my favorite prospect I've ever scouted.
I like it, Cam. I like it. Very curious to see where this guy ends up. Glad you mentioned that. So my second prospect,
hopefully in the black and gold, Ward.
Yeah, my second prospect this year, Cam, is I don't really have to say too much about this guy. Nazir Stackhouse is his name. He is a defensive tackle from the University of Georgia. He wears number 77, Cam. This kid's a stud, man. Nazir is 6'6", 320 pounds. He's not a flashy guy. at all. But I have 2 points about him. One, he's going to be a problematic player for any offensive lineman to block. He is going to clog up lanes. He's a 2-year starter at UGA. He's going to clog up lanes. And 2, look at the funnel of defensive tackles that have come out of UGA the past couple of years. I mean, that pretty much speaks for itself. So, yeah, man, look at watch out for Nazir Stackhouse this year.
I love it. And like you said, if you watch that guy's film, he's not going to pop out on tape.
Yeah.
But when you see guys in that defense making plays, just know it's because of 77 eating up 2 blocks every play. My second guy, I'm going to keep it at center ward. My center 2 in this draft class. I've watched this guy for 2.5, 3 years. He went to WVU from West Virginia, Fairmont Senior High School. 4-time state champ in high school at wrestling ward. Zach Frazier, 6'2", 315-pound center. Reminds me a lot of Tyler Lindenbaum with the wrestling background. Not as good in space as JPJ is, but a lot better at the point of attack, getting movement on double teams. Not as great hips, but he uses his leverage really well. He finishes blocks, goes out of his way to finish blocks. Probably going to get a few personal foul penalties at the next level.
I like it.
I'm cool with that.
You don't
doesn't
want
have this
offensive lineman, Cam.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't have the center capabilities that Powers Johnson has. But if you're looking for a true center, again, I watched this guy. He was a 6th-round projected guy going into his junior year. I think he's projected 5th round going into his senior year. Jumped up to between mid-second, early 3rd round kind of guy now. So this is the guy I'm looking for the Steelers at 54 if JPJ is off the board or they want to go a different direction. But Zach Frazier, more so culturally, still like he's a Steeler, like he's from the Northeast kind of deal. But yeah, super fun prospect. Reminds me a lot of Tyler Lindenbaum.
I like it, Cam. I like it. So my next prospect this year, Cam, is and I know this is going to speak for itself. His name is Peyton Wilson. He the NC State Wolfpack are probably going to retire the number 11 jersey after he leaves, but speaks for itself, Cam. He's a 3-year starter at NC State, led the nation in tackles this year, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Dick Butkus Linebacker of the Year. I mean, he is the number 1 linebacker in college football, Cam, and he's projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round. So, if there's any high or if there's any stock left in Peyton Wilson, I will buy it.
Yeah, he's awesome, man, and super rangy. Doesn't care to hit sideline to sideline. He's awesome. I'm going to do another linebacker here, Ward. Texas A&M product, Edgerrin Cooper. He's an off-ball linebacker. He's 6'2", 227 pounds. Huge thumper, man. Not as great sideline to sideline laterally as you'd like. That's probably why he's a mid-second, early 3rd round kind of guy. But super thumper. Inside the tackles, he's awesome. He can cover, which really, I mean, it doesn't really sound right when you think he's not as great laterally, but he can cover. The sideline to sideline problems come a lot more with just hole discipline, like gap discipline. He overshoots his gaps a lot, trying to make big plays instead of going for the layups, as I like to say. But Edgerrin Cooper, with some polishing and some coaching, could be an awesome off-ball linebacker in the NFL.
I've actually watched him play too. He is pretty good. He I know he's an AMU product, but good guy. Good. We're excited to see where he ends up. So Cam,
are you going on record? Hold on. Are you going on record and saying that Edgerrin Cooper, regardless of whatever comes out about him in this draft process, he's a good guy?
I didn't mean to say it like that. I mean he's a good
good player. I know. I'm
good player.
You.
No, you're good. But next guy, Cam, we've been recording a while. I apologize. Next guy, going Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Clemson product. Watched this guy for multiple years at Clemson play the Wolfpack. He is a middle linebacker. He was a 2nd finalist for the Butkus Award. Peyton Wilson won it over him. But he had over 200 tackles in his college career. Cam, 30 of those tackles were tackles for losses. He had 13 sacks. He had 2 fumble recoveries and 2 interceptions, Cam. 4 interceptions. 2 out of 4 of those interceptions were returned for pick sixes. There's only 4 other players in NFL history that have returned, or I'm sorry, he returned a fumble and an interception for a touchdown in his college career, Cam. There's only 4 or 5 other players in NFL history that have returned both a fumble and an interception for a touchdown, and Ndamukong Suh was one. So Ndamukong Suh was a stud at Nebraska back in the day. But cool thing about Jeremiah Trotter, his dad's a stud too. Obviously, his dad was in the league forever. So excited to see what comes out of Jeremiah, and hopefully he ends up with the with the big gold W on his helmet.
There you go. Just realized how long we've been recording, so we'll get out of here pretty quick. My last guy, Mike Samerstill. He's a slot cornerback from Michigan, nickel cornerback, whatever you want to call it. And when I watch this guy, I think Mike Hilton, another guy that I've been on. Me and Novak actually watched him, not this year, but last year, which was his junior year, in the Big Ten game, and was like, we've got to keep up with this guy. Again, reminds me a lot of Mike Hilton. Great ball skills. In phase, he's really shifty. So like these Hunter Renfrow kind of guys, the route runners, probably not going to bother him as much. Can come off the edge and get pressure. Not scared to get his nose dirty and tackle. So really like this guy. Again, really reminds me of Mike Hilton. And then I think this guy was undrafted coming into his senior year. And now, what's up, Willow?
Well,
undrafted coming in. Undrafted, and then
go ahead,
we got that there. Oh no, you're good. Undrafted, and now he's like a high third rounder. So Mike Samerstill, former receiver ward turned cornerback. So huge fan of this guy.
And Cam, this guy too. I had identified him too, and he is good. Cam, he's good. He wears number 0 for Michigan, which is pretty cool. So excited to see where he turns out.
Yep, super excited for him. And again, this will probably be a weekly segment until the draft. So super excited to drop some knowledge on you guys, or lack thereof, maybe. Going to go through this card really quick, as it was super boring board. Let's call it spade a spade.
Yeah, I know we've already covered the main event pretty much, but yeah, it was a boring card. I really like the Robert Whitaker Paulo Costa fight. Obviously, Bobby Knuckles is back, and you know that Paulo Costa doesn't suck, because that was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, it was an awesome fight. Probably the fight of the night, if we're being honest. Yeah. Jeff Neal loses a decision to Ian Gary. Super lackluster fight. The post fight was probably better than the actual fight, unfortunately. And then Merab wins a decision over Triple C center Henry Cejudo. Merab looked awesome, but would have liked to see a little bit more, I feel like. But yeah, so again, not a fun card. I hope nobody paid for this card. I know me and Ward did.
Yeah, me and Cam did. So Cam, what do you think? UFC 300 was announced. What's the initial reaction?
300 looks awesome, man.
I'm excited, dude. Everybody's clowning the main event. I'm excited as hell for the main event.
This is a stacked card, like top to bottom. This is an awesome card.
It is. I mean, hell, look at the damn prelims, man. I mean, look at the pre-prelims.
Let me run through this card real quick, and we'll talk about what fights you want to talk about and highlight whatever. We got Bobby Green, Jim Miller on the prelims. Figueiredo, Garbrandt, your boy Bo Nickel takes on Cody Brundage.
Yep.
Calvin Kattar and Aljamain Sterling, Yuri Prochazka, Alexander Rakic, Charles Oliveira, Armin, whatever his last name is. Again, Gaethje Holloway canceled. We got Weili and Yan for the women's strawweight title. And then the main event, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill for the light heavyweight championship of the world.
I'm curious who steps in to fight Gaethje at 55. I wonder. I mean, it's not short notice. I mean, it's going to be, they'll get a couple weeks. I mean, when is UFC? It's at the end of March, right?
So we got 299 still. So either end of March or beginning of April, I feel like.
Maybe it's April 12th. I think it is April 12th is what I saw. But I mean, dude, you got a month and a half to prepare. I'm just curious who they give that fight to. That's really interesting about Max Holloway. But no, man, I know
who wants Gaethje. Like, let's be honest. Like, who's stepping up on a month's notice saying I want to fight that savage at 55?
Yeah, very true. I don't know, man. Who knows? But Yeah, I know we still got a while for UFC 300. We'll hit it hard again. I'm just very curious. Main event that I'm very excited about. These are two freaking killers, and I like Jamal Hill a lot. There's not many Brazilians I cheer for. I really like Alex Pereira too. So I don't know, man. We'll just have to see. It's gonna be. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for 299. These back to back.
299 is a really good one too.
But yeah, I believe that's all we got for today. I don't have any picks.
I don't have any picks either.
Shout out to everybody who interacted with us this week, except for Chiefs Kingdom, that loser.
Yeah, that guy is a loser.
But excited. I mean, super fun show. Excited to get back at it next week. 44. Going to be a fun number to do first favorite forgotten with, Ward.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, I want to remind everybody again, Spotify, YouTube, the Fat Katz Podcast. That's KATZ. Instagram and TikTok at Fat Katz Pod. Don't forget to check out the Back in Black drop. Links in all of our bios. We're at 100 subs on YouTube, 145 on Instagram. We're going to be doing a giveaway for a follower giveaway, basically. We'll have more details on that next week. But again, thanks everybody for listening. Ward, pleasure as always, my friend.
Cam, always a pleasure, brother. I don't think anybody's listening anymore, but hell of a pleasure, brother. Hell of a podcast. And next week's episode 44, my friend. So,
yes,
love you, big dog. I'll holler at you later, brother. I'll text you when I get this live.
Love it. Love you, buddy.
Man. Later.